Good afternoon, everybody. How are we? And welcome to RVTV. It's been an interesting week. And from the depths of despair on Wednesday up to absolutely chuffed yesterday, that is the roller coaster of supporting Tottenham Hotspur. As I said, welcome to RVTV. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell thingy if you want to see where we are. And so I will introduce our first guest, the main man, the top geezer, the Irish fighter. Welcome, Kev.
Sorry, mate, late on parade this morning. I forgot.
Yeah.
I moved over. I'm using my wife's laptop and had to reset up everything. About 2 minutes before kickoff, I realised. So I had to find the link and transfer it over, and I'm here now anyway, so it's all done.
Yeah, well, it's not good enough, Kev. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, mate. All that time in my hands and I muck it up. Sorry.
No, it's all good. I apologise for last week.
That's all right.
Had a bit of a heavy night the night before, and
I wasn't in the best frame of mind anyway. You probably know.
Kind of fell asleep. After I'd sent out the link to the other guys, I forgot to send it to you. So my apologies. So let's start out with an absolute nightmare on Wednesday. Lineup was Forster, Romero, Longley, Davis, Royal, Højbjerg, Skip, Perisic, Kulu, Kane, and Son.
Yeah.
What I can really say about this is spineless. When did we actually have our first shot on target? It was as if we were defending being 1-0 down.
Well, I was watching with my missus, who knows not a lot about football, but she could say, why do they keep passing backwards all the time? I mean, it's not hard to work out, is it? You know, it's sideways, backwards, backwards, sideways. You know, if that's your game plan to attack somebody, it ain't going to work.
No. That's the thing as well. You know, I'm one of Højbjerg's biggest fans. This season, not so much. I think he needs to quit with the waving his arms around.
Yeah.
And, the goal against Wolves, or was it against? No, against Sheffield United. And he could have tackled the guy, or at least gone in for the tackle, and he just stood there like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then the bloke ran round whoever was in defence and scored. He's really, I would say it's good to have him at certain points because, maybe if he comes on as sub, he gives a bit of impetus and he tries to G the crowd up. But he's been, I don't think he's a starter anymore. I would much prefer to see Skip, Bentancur when he's fit, and even Sarr. They they look so much better than him. And it breaks my heart to say that because, being a proud Dane, I like to see Danish players play well for Tottenham. And I just don't think he has this season. What do you reckon?
Every player has that little patch where they go through where they can't do everything right, but he's popped up and scored a nice few goals this season. Don't forget that,
Yeah.
He come away from the World Cup fully praised up, and I'm sure someone would snap him up if he became available. He's not form is permanent, as they say, or class is permanent.
Class is permanent,
the other way around. So I beg your pardon, But and that's it with him. I think he's just going through running ruck, and when you're playing around with people that are not doing what they're supposed to be doing all around you, it tends to rub off on you,
Yeah,
that's true. There's a lot of despair there in the team all round.
Yes.
The mood, it's great when they're winning, but if they're not winning, they're sulking, they're hiding, and they're tapping it about. And to look against, as we did against West Ham and Chelsea, and taking the game to teams, and then you go to other teams, and it just doesn't happen. It's as if they've been reset.
Yeah.
As morons, to be honest, it's frightening.
Yeah. Anyway, we have another guest coming on. Haven't seen him in a while, and I have to apologise for last week that I fell asleep when I'd actually invited him on, and he hasn't He hasn't been around for a while, but it's always a pleasure. Probably the biggest and greatest Twitter person in regards to the Levy out, Mr. Brian Daigle.
Good morning, sir. What an introduction. I need to come back more often. I need to come back more often. How are we doing, boys?
Yeah, good. Thanks,
Brian,
mate.
all right?
Good.
All good. All good, mate. All good. Yeah. We were sitting in this place same time last week. I could hear your phone ringing. I could hear you coughing. But yeah, wakey, but no, the lights were on, but no one was home last week. That's for sure.
Where are you now, Brian? You're in the UK?
I'm in the UK till September.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's been extended because I got a very, very good job. And the most important thing and the most happiest thing about it is at least when I'm protesting in the summer, I'll get a goddamn suntan rather than frostbite in January. Every cloud, eh? Every cloud.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and sorry, we have another guest coming in now.
Because I'm Piccadilly Circus here.
And another absolute legend. Very, very active on the YouTube scene. And welcome, Haz.
Hey, you're right. Hey, Brian, you're right.
What up, brother? You good?
Hey, guys, you're right.
How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Good. So we were talking about the spineless display on
Which
Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday.
Which one?
What about you two guys?
Haz, after you, my friend. After you.
All right. Okay. Well, we were defending a 1-0 defeat. So.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Spurs way. The attacking way, eh?
Yeah. You know what? That substitution really summed it up for me. Because, like,
funnily enough, that was one of the headings.
oh, okay. Because, like, you take off a defender, like I can see where he's coming from in terms of Kulusevski because he wasn't exactly being at the races in that respect. But like you have like 10 minutes to go, you need to score a goal. I would have chopped on Lucas and Danjuma and taken off 2 defenders, but that's just me.
Yeah, no, it's very true. But to be honest, do you not think that was a penalty when he got fouled in the area?
No.
Yeah, I did think so.
No.
Really? Because I thought the guy, Hernandez, had one dig at him and then he had a second dig at him to make sure that he went over.
Mate, you've got to remember, this is Davinson Sanchez. He falls over his own shadow. So you know how people who dive get that reputation. They probably thought, his shadow scared him again, or said boo to him, and he got so yeah. Let me say, how was I Wednesday? So unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way you want to look at it, I was in the We Are Tottenham TV studios for both Sheffield United watch along and the Milan watch along.
Milan as well, wasn't it? Yeah.
And after both of them, they go into something called the instant match reaction.
Yeah.
Now, Jens, you've known me for a long time, and when I ran, boy, do I ran. If anyone wants to know how annoyed I was and how mad I went, just check out those instant match reactions. But the Milan game, do you know what like Haz said, we were defending a 1-0 defeat. Yeah. Which is, and do you know what? Everything just went down the centre. Everything just went down the centre. There's no width, there's no creativity, it was static. And the thing that gets me is these players come in and say, do you know what? I want to play in the Champions League. It's the best league. It's the best cup. This is what I want. This is why I stay. This is why I come to Spurs. Really? Didn't show you there. And then with Antonio Conte, and I came to this a little while after the game. I was like, you've got a terrible European record, so it's something to G you up to say, yeah, I want to squash this fucking hoodoo. You have AC Milan, who, let's face it, are probably one of his biggest rivals in his entire life, both as a player and a manager and as a supporter of whatever team he supported growing up. AC Milan were the almighty.
Yeah.
That should have made you want to put on a show to say, right, this is personal for me. Like if we went and managed, let's just say we all managed Aston Villa at one point in our life. When we played Arsenal, Chelsea or West Ham, you would be like, right, this one's personal to me. This one, guys, I want a performance more. You'd want to get one over on them. Yeah. And it was just so embarrassing.
Yeah.
Doomed to fail.
Okay, sorry, just to interrupt we have another guest coming on, the sniper from Stockton, Mr. Simon Says. How are you, mate? You right?
Hey, you're right.
Guys, you right?
So-
Sorry, I'm late.
That's all right, mate. No worries. I was extremely late last week. So,
Yeah, only 7 days.
so Simon, we were just talking about the rather horrible game on Wednesday. Your thoughts?
Well, just listening to that just as I was backstage, I think it's spot on. You know, it's a Champions League final all over again, isn't it? It's like, why aren't you turning up? You know, where if that's not your motivation or give you an incentive, what else is there?
Yeah.
And the inconsistency of that is the most frustrating thing. Our last chance of a trophy. And I think, do you know what, though? I don't know about you guys, but I think every Spurs fan kind of knew it, you know, before the game. Just knew it.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah.
I think for me that what really annoys me, especially about the Milan game, is that we go through all this trouble to make the Champions League, and then it's like we just don't bother turning up. And it's
But
like
I'm not really sure it's all that trouble. It's all about the money, really, isn't it?
yeah,
They're not really bothered about competing in the
I
actual
feel like
cup.
we go through a cycle. Like as in we get into the Champions League, we get knocked out. We get in the Champions League again, we get knocked out.
Yeah.
It's not like we're going in there getting to the semi-finals every year. Like with Liverpool, got to 2 finals in 2 years, and obviously they won it in the end because they got to 2 finals. But they spent the money, so that's the difference, I guess. But with us, it's like we get into the Champions League, then we get knocked out, then we get into the Champions League. Because I fully expect us next season, because I'm assuming this transfer window is going to be quite similar to this last summer, because it normally is with Spurs. We'll probably get into the last 16 again and get knocked out, and then repeat the process.
Rinse and repeat. Yeah. Okay, so let's get on to something a little bit more happy, which was Spurs versus Forest. Line up: Forster, Romero, Longley, Dyer, Davis, Højbjerg, Skip, Porro, Ritchie, Kane, and Son. We scored in the first half.
Mazel tov and Simmentov and Simmentov and Mazel tov and Mazel tov and Simmentov.
Yoa! Yeah. So, what was all that about?
What was that about?
Came out and started and attacked almost from the first minute.
Yeah.
Can someone please explain that to me? Because me no comprende.
Well, you know what? I'll quickly go. It's like what Simeon said. Simeon said on We Are Tottenham TV, and he's right. We're not a first half team. We're not a second half team. We're just a 45-minute team. Doesn't matter if that's 20 minutes in the first half and 25 minutes in the second half, or whatever breakdown you want to do. We can just play around 45 minutes of good football. And listen, Forest didn't help themselves at all in that first half.
Terrible.
But do you know what?
Interesting, really.
Richarlison, do you know what? He was fantastic yesterday. I won't have anything said against him. He was fantastic yesterday, and he just can't buy any luck. That goal was onside. What a finish! And when I saw the lineup with him starting on the right, I was like, first of all, shocked he was even in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
Bit after war was, and then it was like, are you punishing him by putting him on the right, his worst place, so he can have a worse game? I think he was terrific yesterday. I think he was absolutely terrific.
He's popping up everywhere, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Just, I do have one little bugbear, and it's through the whole team. The passing sometimes is absolutely terrible. What do you think about that? I think that they're trying to make simple passes and they're putting it straight to the opposition, and it's like, for crying out loud, I used to do better down at Westwood Park in my youth when I was playing for Unicorns Cubs team. I mean, it's just, maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but yeah, welcome to RVTV. But so what do you think about the passing? What do you think about the team play? It doesn't strike me as I'm sure it used to be better under other managers.
I just don't think we have the same technical players as we had under previous managers. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
I've had
well,
arguments with
okay.
people on Twitter about this.
Sorry?
I've had
Porro
arguments.
and Jane are delivering lovely balls at the moment. You know, not every
Porro
time.
looks
But
good, yeah.
yeah, Porro will get better, I hope. You know,
Yeah.
but he fired a few across yesterday that were brilliant. I thought.
Yeah. And I have to say, you can take Harry Kane out of that because, pretty much 95% of his passes are absolutely quality. But the rest of them, Højbjerg, as I was waxing lyrical at the start of the podcast, his passing is horrible, absolutely terrible.
Who
But
is sorry?
Højbjerg.
It's one extreme or the other, isn't it? Like there's quite a few players like that. Like let's not forget Højbjerg's like created assists with his passing for goals.
Scored. Yeah.
And he scored as well. And then I think a couple of weeks ago, Jens, you were saying that like every time he seems to get the ball, he passes it backwards or to the side, and we saw that as well. But as well as that, we saw amazing passes from him and from Ben Davies, crossfield balls, and you can literally. Watch Spurs do crap passes, go out for a fag or a cup of tea, come back in and watch a completely different team. It's so bizarre. It's like Richarlison. Like it's so weird with Richarlison because he's shit, but he's good. Like his first touch most of the time is terrible. Lets the ball run away from him and stuff. But then he'll pop up like he's just like Bugs Bunny. He's everywhere, and then he'll pop up and like. Have a great. Well, we scored the goal. Let's just say it was a goal because it wasn't offside. And it will do amazing things like that. He's a proper disruptor. I think we're so inconsistent in every single way. Like minute by minute, but also week by week. It's just bizarre. It's fraught with nerves watching Spurs.
Yeah, that's very true. Richarlison, that goal. Craig Pawson, hang your head in shame. How, and the rest of the VAR team, how the effing hell was that offside?
It's just, it wasn't even level. Like he's got his arm like it clearly in front of Richarlison, and it's just like, well, if we just had people doing VAR that weren't the referees' mates, it'd be much better.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I think we got to look at it as well with this is I cannot wait till this automated offside comes in.
Yeah.
Because not only is it back when you've seen it done, it's kind of like now when the ball crosses the line. They don't crowd the referees and go, no, it didn't cross the line. No, it didn't cross the line. It's like my watch went off. Okay, it's a goal. That automated offside not only has got it bang on every single time, it's done within 30 seconds. None of this waiting around and is it a goal? Is it not? Let's have a look. Let's get these lines. Are they straight? Are they this? Are they touching? Are they wide? Are they this? It's got out of control. Why? And do you know what it is as well? It's not the technology because we've seen at the World Cup and the Euros, VAR gets used correctly. Bang, done, bye. Here, it's like they're waiting for their cup of tea and the kettle to boil. And it's like, let's just stall them for a couple of minutes. I've got the pot noodle one. It hasn't got that softness yet, so let's just get. It's a joke, and that one when we were watching it in the studio yesterday, we were looking at one point. It looked like they were using the wrong bloody defender to do the lines with.
Yeah,
it really did, like they did a few weeks ago, Simon. And they keep doing this, and from the angle we saw, I can't see it being offside. Isn't it typical? The one time match the day goes silent is the one time a VAR is there that I want to hear them talk about it. But for me, I mean, the best thing to take out of it is that finish from Richarlison and the pass from Skippy. But it was a goal. It was a goal.
Yeah, definitely. But
you know what my issue with VAR is? It's more just the amount of time that they do to make a decision. There should be like a time limit because it's getting a bit ridiculous. I find like if they say, "Oh, we need to make a decision within 2 minutes," and they won't be drawing as many lines and doing as many like. When they zoom in, zoom out, and do these like up, down, left,
do the
right,
and
they ring their friend and say, "Do we like this team or not?" A little bit like the old Danny Simpson, Leicester interview the other day
Mate.
when Clattenburg said, "Oh, we want you to win. Score."
Mate, there was another one with Clattenburg where he said, "I wanted to give you a red card, but I want you to win the league." So Clattenburg hasn't covered himself in glory.
No, funny that.
We still would have fucked
Pedro
up.
Mendes goal.
Listen, mate, we still would have
Oh, yeah, I'm
sposed
still
it up
sour
anyway.
about that. I'm still sour about that goal, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, but you were talking about Skippy.
Oh.
This might be a little bit controversial. What do you reckon?
I've said it from the off. I've said it from the off because I've seen Steve Berryman when he was a 17-year-old player, and I watched most of his home games, all three, and a heck of a lot of his away games for his career. You know, and to me, the resemblance is uncanny. The way he scampers about, the way he hustles, keeps the ball close to him as he's running, the way he dips his shoulder, the ground he covers, box to box. And the same when he shot. Someone put up a video of a shot that Perryman scored against AC Milan, funny enough.
AC Milan, he scored 2 in that game, didn't
he? One of them was a carbon copy of the one Skippy got the other week.
Yeah.
Well, not carbon copy, but near enough, damn it, Yeah. But the way he goes around and the modesty with it, but the hardness with it as well and everything else. Yes, he does go in hard sometimes, but I don't knock him for that,
Yeah.
I wouldn't like him if he didn't,
Yeah.
I tell you what, he is living the dream, and he's not just living the dream; he's living our dream. Like we would all want that, wouldn't we? Like growing up as like schoolboy and then coming through, and then just being one of the best players on the pitch. He's living it. I'm so proud of him as well. Like, when you watch him play, even when he hasn't got the ball and he's coming like towards the players. Like the way his body language is and the speed, and he's got his head down, and you just think he's gonna get that ball by hook or by crook. He's gonna get that ball. You'd hate to play against him, and like I said about Richarlison, he's all over the place. You can rely on him now. I think last season I was quite 50-50 on him. Like I don't know, I think we might send him out on loan or whatever. But I'm so glad he's with us. He's just
he's been injured for a while, hasn't he? So which was a shame because he had a great loan period at Norwich where they said they'd really like to keep him. He was one of their best players in years since probably Jeremy Goss or whatever his name was, that guy who scored against.
Didn't get voted.
That is a blast from the past.
Yeah, against Bayern Munich. You remember that?
Unfortunately, I'm old enough to remember it. Yeah.
No, I was talking about Jeremy Goss for Norwich. Against Bayern Munich. You're right. What was that?
That's the rat dog just jumped off the settee and knocked a box over. It all goes on it.
Rat dog.
Handbag dog, I should say. Sorry, beg your pardon.
Okay, sorry.
So what you got with Skip? Listen, last season before he got injured at Leicester, for me, he was our best midfielder, and that was before obviously we signed Kulu and Bentancur. It was like he got injured at Leicester in January. Mm-hmm. Then he had our medical team do their work on him, and it's worse than first feared and longer than first expected, and whatever it may be.
Is that better?
Yeah.
How does that feel?
That's with the sledgehammer. When they do reflexes with a sledgehammer. They don't have that plastic thing. It's like bang. But when we went to play Milan and it was Skip and Sarr, I think everyone rightly so was worried because of the inexperience of those two in such a big game, and they held their heads high. And I thought Sarr had the better game, but Skip has obviously for some reason taken the mantle. I think Sarr had a little knock that he's still resting. But since that Milan game, Ollie Skip has been our most consistent player.
Yeah.
And yesterday, his passing range, he was like a quarterback. Listen, I've got great faith in him. There's a youngster in the pit, who I know and I think is even better than him already, and that's one Alfie Devine. But Ollie Skip, like Simon said, he's living our dream. He has taken. He's got a look. He's been carrying us. I mean, Kane's got a couple of goals here and there, but the best performer on that pitch since Milan, without doubt, has been Ollie Skip. Perryman is a big leap, though. That is a huge leap.
Yeah.
Did you notice as well? I don't know if you noticed watching the match, but I was listening in very carefully, and even the periods that we weren't playing that well, it's a bit, static and whatever. As soon as Skippy got the ball, you could hear the crowd. Suddenly the crowd are like, you can hear the seats backing up, people stood up, and like the buzz now when he gets the ball, and that's what you want. That's a mark of any great player, isn't it? Like, and
Simon, do you go to matches? Do you go to the matches as well? You see the ticket holder or anything?
No, I'm like 300 miles away from.
Okay. So the great thing about it, and I noticed it last season, no matter when Spurs were singing songs, and obviously away they're all loud and at home, it seems that there's the Harry Kane is one of our own, Antonio Conte, and Ollie Skip. When they sing that song, it seems to be like 10 decibels higher. I don't know if it's because it's one of our own and it's the manager, but obviously that song that was originally Rafa's, I love that chant anyway. But it just seems to be more intense and louder whenever they sing about Ollie Skip than any other song. And maybe it's because it is one of our own. Maybe it's just my ears. Who knows? But he's warranted it. He's been performing brilliantly.
He's made himself irreplaceable now, I think.
Yes, hasn't he?
I think with Skip, there's a few factors to consider. Obviously, I don't watch Perryman, so I can't really comment on that. But as in, obviously, he came from the academy. He kind of needs to break this Tottenham English central midfielder curse that we have. Where we had Mason, we had Carroll, we had
Bentancur.
Wings.
Not Bentancur, Bentaleb. God, how bad is that?
Yeah. Wings. So it is in a sense that these players, they start very well and then they tend to fade away, or they become to the level that we kind of expect them to end up they become. So it depends on him in the sense that I think Bentancur's injury has helped him as well, because I think Bentancur was fit. I don't think he'd be playing. And he kind of has to step up because we've got no other choice. And like I do like Oliver Skip. It's just I think he needs to be a bit careful to like start making massive claims. But he's doing well so far, so let's just see how it goes.
No, I'm just thinking, you know, as Kev said, he reminds him of Perryman. He reminds me a little bit.
I didn't watch
him,
so I can't comment on that. So
I'm not going to say that he's going to. Yeah, as I said, that's why there's a question mark afterwards.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing I did realise during the game is I'd want a DNA test between Ollie Skip and Steve Cooper. Because I was just like, whoa, is this? He is your father. Mate, I was just like, Jesus Christ.
He doesn't
look, Steve Cooper could be on.
Doesn't look anything like Darth Vader.
Mate, but Ollie Skip is Benjamin Button. His body is 21. His face is 63.
So I wanted to bring something else up as well, which is probably not as positive.
I've got my own take on this, but
okay. Well, please go ahead.
Voice your opinions, then, innit?
Yeah. So, like, I think he's been rushed back from injury because we have another option on the right, apart from Lucas, who's clearly leaving the club. And I think you can, like, for me, when I watch him, I don't think he looks match fit, even when he came back in his first game. And I know it's been a few games, but I just don't think he looks match fit. Okay. And it's just, I don't know. I think it's a lot harder when you get rushed back. Like, we've seen it with, like, Romero a few times when he gets rushed back. He's not the same level as when he was before, because our medical team are a mess, I think, in general. But I find that I don't even remember the documentary. Mourinho was like fuming that someone was injured and he wants to rush him back. I think Conte is quite similar. Like, he wants his best players fit as soon as possible, but sometimes to the detriment of the actual like performance of the player, because they don't come back in the required time. In defense of like someone like Skip, I think he's sort of been managed in the right way coming back. That's because we have so many midfield options. If you look at our right side options, he doesn't want to play with Danjuma. He does play Richarlison there, but it doesn't seem like it's very often. And obviously Lucas is on his way out, so yeah.
But that's actually something that I wanted to come to. Unless, does anyone else have something to say about
Yeah, I've got one thing to say about this, actually. And I had this real big conversation with someone. I can't remember who it was. But I was like, nah, you're talking. But now I'm looking at it and I'm starting to question. This guy said to me, I think it was on a Twitter space, and he's like, you watch, Dejan Kulusevski will be found out. He will be found out. And this was a few months ago. Okay. Now, I agree. I think he's come back way too soon. We rush everyone back. But last season, people didn't have a fucking clue what to do with Kulusevski. They just could not stop him. No matter what, he had a solution. Well, this year, obviously, people know that attacking line, when it's on fire, like the Son, Kane, Kulu, it will destroy most defenses. We saw that. And then I started looking at it. You know that ball that he put in for Sessegnon on the first game of the season against Southampton, like that heat seeker missile one. He did it for Leicester against Harry Kane.
Yeah.
He's continuously trying that, and they're going out for goal kicks. His passing seems to be a little bit off. He's not really taking players on.
Yeah.
And if you see it, when he's on the ball, normally he's so quick. And the perfect thing I'll use to prove it is the way he set up Bentancur for that final goal in that Leeds thriller before the World Cup, where it looked like he was going to shoot and he dummied.
Yeah.
He's taking that extra step because I think his confidence is down a bit. Now, I don't want to think that he's been found out. Like, again, let's show our age, Jens. Ilya Dumitrescu. He had one step over and a check-in, and it was like, to start off with, no one could stop it. It was like, wait a minute, I know what you're going to do. And then bang, bang, bang. I don't want to think that he's been found out. I don't think I'm on that train. But put it this way, where I was like 100% no, what Hazard said, I'm starting to go a little bit like towards it. I mean, I'm sure he'll get back to his best. I want him to, but you've got to think he ain't himself, or has he been found out?
Yeah.
Well, I think the thing with Kulu is, I think has got it spot on. He's out of sorts because we've rushed him back. It's a bit like when you start a new job and you miss the first day of training or something, and you join in on the second day. You're not sure what's going on, and you're like, I'm trying to play catch up here. That's what, and you're out of sorts. You can't quite fit in. Let's not forget how good he was. He was not only going past players, but it was this space he made available for himself out on the wing there. He doesn't do that anymore. He'd always find a spot or a way in, and he's just struggling to get past one, let alone two players, because that's what they put on him now, is two players every team we play against. And he just can't do it. So he's going to have to reinvent himself, because we've got players that want that spot. Danjuma, Jed Spence as well, don't forget. We'll probably have him back soon rather than later, I hope. And Bentancur is coming back as well. So I mean, Bentancur early April, is it? Bentancur is going to be back. So September. So
I think it's more like Christmas.
I don't think we'll be back until next year, to be honest. Yeah.
He's got the rest of the season to reinvent what he does and get himself a place. Otherwise, he'll be gone. Simple as that.
What Shelfside is saying is also true. I mean, we don't know what's going on with. But the one thing I'll say kind of against what he said is they may not have known that in January. Obviously, we're getting now in March, and everything that's unraveling is unraveling. In January, it weren't that certain. But it could be. It could well be. But I think we all agree he's definitely not right.
No.
Well, thanks for that, Johnny. Nice to see you, mate. I hope you won this morning. So the next subject that I wanted to go on to, I'm going to have my say, and then everybody else can please crack on. From some of the stuff that he's saying, I just think that I'm not sure that he's that interested anymore. I kind of understand that he hasn't been backed as he would like to, but he obviously hasn't been backed the same as he was in his old jobs, because we don't have billions and billions and billions to back him with. But I also think he seems to be coming across as a little bit of a petulant child. It's like, I didn't get this player, so I got this player on loan, so I'm not going to play him. Danjuma. What was the point in signing him? You're putting on Lucas Moura, who's, I love the guy, but he's past his sell-by date.
Yeah.
Danjuma's, for the few minutes that he's actually played, he's looked really lively. Why not give him a go?
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I want him to stay. I don't particularly. It was lovely yesterday because we actually played attacking football, but the last few seasons has just been, with Maureen, Nuno, and Conte, it's not the football that I grew up watching. Okay, yeah, we lost 4-3 or whatever, but we actually played nice football. What do you reckon? Should he stay or should he go? Kev?
Well, it's his whole attitude. He's not proactive to the press or to the supporters or anything like that. It's all mind games, and and he's dug his own hole, and he's not done himself any favours. I think with the way he portrays himself, and I might do this and I might do that, and I've lost faith in him, because of his attitude. If he was more on the front foot all the time, he's playing games with the board and playing with the supporters as well, because we want to see the game won, irrespective of football politics. Yeah, to me, we need to be winners one way or the other, and that's the most important thing. The other thing is for another day, that kind of stuff. Either you're fully on board or you're not. There's no sort of in between for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, I've been thinking about this because actually, I've got your video queued up on my laptop to watch because I know you did one on this the other day. But for me, it's past the point of no return. Like there's on a small and large scale. So there's the decisions that he makes that you wouldn't even expect a League One manager to make, like bringing on Sanchez at that point and in the game. Being on the worst player in the club. Well, no, not the worst player in the club, but the second worst player in the club.
Second worst.
Who's the worst then, Dyer?
Sessegnon. And decisions like that. But there's also things like the Arsenal game, the Sheffield United game, going out of the FA Cup in itself, the AC Milan game. There's things like that if you're not doing, for me as a Spurs fan, those are basics that I expect from manager, and he hasn't done them, so he's past the point of no return. He's gone. Get out. We can get someone in who wants to do that. And I understand, on his personal life, he's got, he's had a turbulent last year or whatever, but and his family are still in Italy. Being paid 50 million a year or whatever, bring him over. Do you know what I mean? Come on. It's no more excuses. It's just simple. It's get it done.
Does anyone know if his family was in England when he was managing Chelsea?
Good point. Don't know.
Doesn't his daughter go to an English school or something? Or am I wrong?
He's only got a wife and a daughter, isn't it?
I don't know. Someone told me one of his family members goes to school in England, but I don't know who it was who told me. But my take on it is in the sense that, do you mean should he stay or should he go? As in, do I think should he stay or should he go?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So
it's all about onions.
Yes and no. So part of me thinks that it doesn't matter what manager we get, as long as Levy's here, we won't win anything. So if he stays or goes, it's not going to make that much of a difference. The next managers will come in and we're going to repeat the same script we repeated last season, or this season, or the season before that. Just trying to finish top four, and that's about it. Do I think he should stay? Well, I like Conte, but is his heart in it? I don't think so. I don't think his heart's completely in it. But I had this discussion actually on Marlon's channel yesterday, and I said that with Iggy and Stell and Marlon, of course, but if we finishes in the top four, I think Levy will try and keep him on, because to him, Levy sees that as a win. So even though most people don't want him to stay, it seems like I think Levy will try and keep him on because he's fulfilled the requirement that he wants.
So yeah, I mean, oh God, Simon, go on, you go.
I just going to say, to use an old phrase now, but he's just lost his mojo, hasn't he? He's lost his mojo. You can see it in him.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure he ever really had it. I liken him a lot to Jose Mourinho, that he needs millions to win titles. Now, okay, last season he did well to get us into fourth, but everybody was saying, "Oh, gee, yeah." He can turn. I can't even remember who it was. Victor Moses. He turned into a great wing back, and people were saying, "Oh yeah, he's going to turn Royal into this amazing wing back." And yeah, funny enough, when we bought Porro, he became prime Cafu. I'd like to see a. I can't even say this about Poch because he didn't really bring an awful lot of youth through. But I'd like to see a manager at Tottenham who actually uses this amazing training ground that we have. Yeah, even though our youth team is not the greatest, but you know, you can attract players with that if you actually pay the wages. But that comes back to league.
So let me get back. So you mentioned the youth. Now the thing is with the youth team is the under 18s and under 23s have been awful this season.
Yeah, under 18s not too bad. Under 21s,
yeah, but still not reaching time. But the thing is, what you would do if you've got this plethora of talent that you want to bring through, and it's kind of the ethos of what you want to do, bringing. You say, well, you're not doing the job. I've got talent here, and you're not progressing them. We're going to cut ties with you and bring in managers that may get the best out of them. But no, we don't do that. You just stay there, no accountability, just let these players, whatever. Then you said about playing attacking football. Yes, we didn't play attacking football yesterday. First half, Nottingham Forest didn't know what to do. They didn't press. They gave us the freedom of White Hart Lane.
Maybe that's why we were attacking.
Absolutely nothing, and that's what. And then you saw in the second half when they made the subs and started pressing us.
Yeah,
that's when we started. So yes, it was more attacking and progressive than previous games.
Yeah,
and that's because in that first half, Forest just went, "Oh, here you go, come on us."
Yeah, that's true.
And we were able to do it. Now, when it comes to Conte, when Conte came. Every single, or not every single, I don't want to put words in people's mouth, but a very large section of the Spurs fan base said, oh, this is Levy's last chance. This is Levy's last chance. This is the manager that will stick up to him. This is the manager who will stand up to him. Now, 3/4 of them are going, oh, Conte out. Not, oh, wait a minute. I thought it was last chance for this man, but now you're going for this man. Antonio Conte is a wonderful football manager. But he's a wonderful football manager if he gets given the tools to succeed. Like people say, if you go to Gordon Ramsay and say, right, make me a 3-course lobster meal, but here you go, I'm giving you turkey, he ain't going to be able to give you a fucking lobster meal, is he? So when you got the manager in there, if you look at it, the greatest time in our era or in our history under Levy was with Pochettino and Paul Mitchell. And what happened? Paul Mitchell listened to the manager, and look what happened. And the moment that kind of Mitchell went and things went back to normal, we all know what happened. Yeah. I was as much Conte in as I am Levy out. But the way this has gone this season, and listen, players have got a hell of a lot to be answered to. But his stubbornness and unwilling to change this system and formation and whatever. And the thing that's got to me now is either commit to the goddamn club or piss off. Yeah. It's one of two ways. If someone told me tomorrow Antonio Conte signs a 2-year contract, I'll be over the moon. It's like, right, that's put to bed. And if he signed it, there's surely got to be something within that contract that would give me some kind of hope that Levy is going to do something. Not a lot, but for Antonio Conte to sign it would make me think, okay, there might be some kind of change, or maybe, who knows, these investors might materialize. We don't know what's happening. But if he's not going to sign, and he is, and let's say they know behind the scenes that he's going in at the end of the season, piss off now. Yeah. Because you're wasting time now where the new manager, whoever it may be, can start saying to Levy and Paratici or whoever it may be, I'm coming in, these are the players I want. These are the targets I want. I'm playing a different style of football, maybe if it's Poch, definitely. I need to get rid of these, and I need to get these in, and I need them in quick. Yep. You've got to start planning. We've heard so many rumours that, they're going to come to a decision in May or June. It's like, well done. In June, the transfer window's open. You're wasting time. It comes out. Listen, if Conte signs a contract, fantastic. Let's just hope he gets the players in, because I think if we sign a contract and he doesn't get the players in he wants, he'll leave in August. He'll go like, that's it, done, bye. But if he is going to go, just piss off and go now. Every single week we're now going to have, if Conte loses, is he getting the sack? Is Conte getting the sack? What do these players that have got the weakest mentality ever and just throw manager under the bus? Yes. They don't know if they're coming or going. Yeah. So for me, it's either sign up or piss off.
So what you're saying is, if Conte signs extension, new contract, whatever, it will be because Levy has said something to him that reassures him, or it's something
I would
completely
hope so.
different.
That's what it would say to me, Simon, because you know what Conte's like. If you saw what he did at Inter when they're trying to sell his best players, he was like, "Don't sell them, don't sell them." They did. He was like, "Ta-da, see you later. I've just won a league for you. You're not listening. Bye bye." So if he does sign, and only if he does, my interpretation of that is there has to be something written in the contract or assurances, or maybe it's Harry Kane's state. Who knows what it is? But if Conte was to sign a contract, there has got to be, I would imagine myself, some kind of assurances that this kind of stuff ain't going to happen anymore, or at least you know what it is, Simon. I don't mind bringing in the one youth player. Like there's this talk of this guy from I can't remember his name from Bristol City.
Yeah, I know.
So if you bring him in, make sure there's 3 or 4 decent players that go into the first team. Not we're going to find 3 or 4 youth products that one for the future and 1 star. They need to kind of flip that around, in my opinion. And that I think we'd all be happy with that, like Liverpool do. Like they bought Harvey Elliott, but they bought 3 or 4, bang. Then they've done it with another kid recently, and they bought another 3. That's why. So if Conte was to sign Simon, wouldn't you think that there's got to be something in that contract, or I don't want to say gentleman's agreement because we all know what that means, but something that would say, okay, I'm committed to you.
Yeah, but for all you know, he might have said that at the beginning of his contract.
Yeah, no, there is that as well.
That's the thing. I think he's been lied to, or he's been told, "Oh yeah, maybe we can do this," and unfortunately, it's been a maybe.
You know what? You know what it is. The issue with Spurs is not the actual amount all the time. It's more the use of it, right? So, for example, that Richarlison money, I heard. I don't know if this is reliable. Someone told me he wanted Osimhen, right? And this is before he went to Napoli. Osimhen would have cost 80 to 90 million. Let's say. Say we didn't sign Spence, we didn't sign Richarlison, and and the youngster. That's basically the money for Osimhen.
He was very unhappy to be substituted yesterday. I flicked over to watch Napoli versus Atalanta. And I have to say, Ndombele had a good 20 minutes out there. But yeah, he's coming off the bench all the time. But yeah, when Osimhen got when he got substituted, there were boots flying and him effing and blinding. And yeah, so that's the kind of player we need, I'd say. Cares about getting substituted.
I just think, that's what I'm trying to say. He clearly didn't want to spend, but we could have spent that 15 to 20 million plus the 60 million on Richarlison for someone better. Yeah. So that's the issue. And I'm with Brian in the whole flipping around the thing. It's more the fact that I have nothing against signing young players. It's good because, but the way, when City Young sign young players, it's different because they already have 20 players they can rely on, right? They can bring in a couple more for the future, as you say, and in a couple of years when one of those 20 players or 2 of those 20 players move on, the other 2 just come in and slot in. Like Alvarez is like a planned thing. They got him for £15 million. By the time Haaland leaves or whatever, they have someone as a successor straight away. It's different, but because Spurs, we need 10 players, arguably, because we have so much to work on. We almost need 2 windows where we sign 10 starters. In essence, I think
10. That's a 10, really.
Yeah, because you need a goalkeeper. You need 2 centre halves. You probably need 2 wing backs still. You need a creative midfielder / central midfielder. Because Benzema's injury, I think, is a massive issue for us. Yeah. He might not come back the same player. And then you might need another forward as well. So that's 8 to 10 players. And if Kane goes, there's another 2 to 3 players in itself. So,
do you think it's an if or do you think it's a when?
I think it's a when. When he's gone, simple as that. As soon as we went out at Sheffield United, he's gone. And I think we need to start getting used to that. So it's not so much of a shock. Why would he stay?
I think it was when he busted.
Then again, it's been why would he stay for so many years, isn't it? So
just what it is. His record, as I'm saying. So once he's done that, he's forever. No one's ever going to beat that record now. All-time goal scorer. Yeah. So as soon as he's done that was it.
Troy Parrott. Thanks God.
No.
I'm just joking.
Not having a good time at Portsmouth at the moment.
But
Getting
I
sent
think
back,
with Kane, I can see him staying. The only reason I can see him staying is if United and Chelsea don't go in for him.
I don't. Yeah, I'm not. He seems like quite a homely kind of guy. I think he'd want to stay in.
I don't think he wants to
England.
stay in the UK. I think he
Yeah.
wants to stay in the UK. Yeah.
Oh well, in the UK, then he can sign for Celtic, can't he?
No,
Or
I mean in the
Aberdeen.
Premier League. That's what I'm trying to say. but as in because if United don't go in for him and Chelsea don't go in for him, I don't see where he goes. So unless
You think he'd go to Chelsea?
Newcastle makes a bid, or Chelsea. I don't.
Yeah.
That's what I said. Chelsea. That's a Chelsea or United. But
Do you think that he'd go to Chelsea though, because of the, the rivalry between us two? And he,
I think
he
it's
may have been a gooner when he was younger, and he may still support Arsenal. Who knows? But yeah,
Chelsea's a graveyard for forwards. They don't seem, they buy the best forwards in the world, and they just have one season, and that's it. They're gone.
Oh, Drogba was all right, but that was many years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to remember they got Nkunku coming in the summer anyway.
he's class, and Cuckoo's class.
Where's he come from? Leipzig, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's more of a second striker. He's not really a striker.
Okay. Yeah.
He's more of like he can play
I don't
wide,
know,
or he can play as a 10, or as like a second striker. He doesn't play as like the complete, like a Lukaku or something.
Yeah. But I mean, Havertz and what was the other German guy they signed? Warner, was it? Werner?
Werner, yeah.
They really, Werner's gone now, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's gone back to Leipzig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as Kev said, maybe it is a bit of a boneyard for forwards.
Last time was Diego Costa. I think that was good.
Yeah. It's kind of nice to see Diego Costa injured against us. Even though we lost. But absolutely can't stand that bloke. Right. So we're coming to the turn of the hour. So I think we're going to wrap it up. Does anyone else have anything to say? Anything they'd like to get off their chests?
Leave you out.
Leave you out.
Oh, I forgot. RV's trip to the lane.
Oh, yeah. How'd it go?
I was very disappointed not to see you, Brian, and Haz, and everybody else. They all seem to be ignoring me. But I have to say...
like I said to you, mate, first of all, I didn't go to the game.
Yeah.
So that would have been the first stumbling block. We don't do protests on Chelsea Day because obviously the fans that come from Chelsea are looking for... So it could be major issues. And I was doing the watch along at We Are Tottenham TV. I'm quite disappointed you didn't come to the studio, mate. How dare you? You came all the way
Next
over.
time. I have to say, I should hopefully be there for the Brentford game.
All right, so listen, are you coming over for the day or a couple of days?
Hopefully for the weekend.
So then we'll definitely do something. We're doing
cool.
something. I should be going to that game because we've got a few things planned for that game.
Nice one.
So we shall see, and you can be a part of it if you want. But then we'll definitely spend some time afterwards.
Yeah, it sounds good. Because this is the first game I've been to since COVID against Chelsea, and I was walking down the high road, and obviously not a lot's changed. But it was just felt like I was home. It's just had a few pints in the what used to be the Pride of Tottenham is now the Blue Coats. And then went into the match, met up with a few people I haven't seen in years, who were from where I grew up, just outside London. And then one of them gave me a lift back to where I grew up, and I stayed with one of my old mates that night, and me and the missus. Yeah, we had a great time. It was lovely. It's highly amusing though. We stayed in Great Portland Street on the Saturday night. And it might as well have been called Great Toon Street because there were Newcastle fans everywhere. It was highly amusing. We had a chat with a few of them, and they were very optimistic and very pessimistic. But so, chat. Does anyone want to plug anything before we sign off?
I'm live at 4 p.m. if anyone wants to try.
Okay.
Look at him. He's putting his hand out. Do you know, Haz is so polite. Honestly, even when we go out for a curry, it's like he's back at school. It's like, I order, I can't. I love Haz. We spend a lot of time together. So, and ironically, didn't even know this, and we only found out recently. I went to school with his sister, like in his sister's class. Like, it's such a. I went to school with her and Stelios. Me and Stelios have known each other since we're 11 years old and grown up with each other. So it's really strange. But yeah, my morning show, Cockerel Doodle Doo for Tottenham on Tour, will be at 8:30 in the morning.
Nice.
Where, funnily enough, I've stopped talking about the matches the day after because Brian Ireland's doing it. So I have a little talk and a little rant about protests and trolls. So
trolls. Oh yeah. As I said earlier on Twitter, Brian.
Yeah, I saw, brother.
Never ever see you call anyone out. Yeah, but so many people call you out. I just think it's Do
you know what it is as well, mate? I started to learn. When we did the training ground protest last year, me, Ryan, and Graham started it, and people joined us near the end. When I put photos up, I would say the people that were supporting it against the people that were bantering it, trolling it, being abusive, was probably 75%, 25% on the way of the abuse.
Okay.
Well, now we fast forward a year and it's flipped. But that guy, and I won't mention his name because he's just being a prick. Well, what happens now is people like to at me because if anything Levy, which isn't even to do with me, comes out, oh, that's Daigle. Oh, that's Daigle. Oh, that's Daigle. Oh, that's Daigle. So they at me. And now when they at me, I'm like, I'll retweet this and go, all right, you want to try and be clever? Let me retweet this. And then thankfully, a lot of people, but like I said to you, Jens, you know my story. I've had battles with addiction, battles with mental health that I'm very open about.
Yeah.
And you never know the person behind the keyboard, if they're going through anything, or they could have had a death in the family or lost a job or something catastrophic happened, and it's them lashing out. So I never, ever, ever will retaliate that way. I may say you don't know what you're talking about, but if this is what people want to do, if I'm living rent-free in their head that at 9 o'clock in the morning, the first thing that 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning, the first thing they want to do is at me for shits and giggles, well, let's have some fun.
Yeah. Very true. Yeah. Okay, Simon, Kev, any last words?
No, I'm fine. Yeah, it's good to see a healthy attendance here today.
Absolutely. Nice. Yeah, it's good to see I actually woke up. So.
Yeah, true.
Okay, the chaps, it's a pleasure as always. And come on, you Spurs.
And as always, Levy out.
Yeah,
Levy out.
Yeah.
You know me.